out there at the Core Plantation. If you're at the Core Plantation, shout out to you. Man, I was trying to get this camera to work. This camera wasn't working. I'm about to cut it off. Shout out to everybody out there, man. Tasha, Shani, Eric. You already know what it is, man. Shout out to everybody out there that's handling business, doing what they need to do to survive. It's another broke day, you know what I'm saying? At the Core Plantation. Man, we about to get into some shit. I'm just about to break some shit down for y'all today, man. Just from what I've been seeing. And we gonna break it down, man. We gonna definitely break it down. That's a fact. Let's get it. Alright, here we go. Cut this shit down. Man. I was noticing they going real heavy about this abortion shit. Shout out to all you lazy ass motherfuckers that ain't doing shit at the Core Plantation, whatever it is. Shout out to you. But I noticed, man, it's hot in the motherfucker out here, man. It's finally starting to get hot. This weather going up and down, so make sure you're taking your natural herbs and doing what you need to do, man, because this weather is 115 degrees one day, then it drops down to 90. I don't know what the fuck they doing with this weather, but I stay on my Tahuti and my CMOS. But anyway, man, I noticed they talking about abortion. And here's the thing, when the dominant society wants to push an agenda, shout out to my brother David from No Compromise. I got to get with him, man. I just been handling. He already hollered at that brother. I noticed they've been talking about abortion, but when the dominant society wants to do something, they push an agenda first. If they really want to push this abortion agenda, they would have been pushing that everywhere like they normally do everything else. If you notice, when you look at the trans thing, every other thing, they got that on TV. They got it in your face. They got their own community. They got all that. And you can't say nothing about it. When you turn on a movie, they incorporate that in everything you say, you see, you listen to, you hear. But for some sort of reason, you don't never really hear nothing about no abortion. And that's the thing that I find so odd, because these congressmen and senators and everybody else, they're pro-choice and it's a woman's right to choose and all this other shit. But they're not putting that in no movies. You don't really see that in no books and no magazines like that. I'm talking about stuff where it's always constantly shoved in your face. Now, they'll shove the alphabet community in your face all day long. I was watching The Shy, and when I watched that, I said, man, they got one girl that was trans that was on there that looked more like a girl. They got her off the show. Then they brung another one in there to basically make this character that's played by Luke James, where he just like trans women. I'm like, see, but y'all ain't said nothing about no abortion. You know what I mean? You ain't said nothing. And not, The Shy been on for 6. Yeah, we like theater, but let me tell you, the dominant society, they like Shakespeare, and they like to put on that act like, oh, we're looking at this, and man, stop. Y'all people don't give a flying fuck about no abortions and none of that shit. Or y'all be protesting outside of the Planned Parenthoods if you really gave a fuck about abortions. You wouldn't just be on TV, because the TV's a stage, it's theater. If we can look at it from a certain perspective, we'll understand that shit. You know, I was having this conversation with someone too. They were like, well, what is corporate politics? I'm like, corporate politics that's the lazy motherfucker that kiss ass and want to be seen working. I mean, where he want to work to be seen, and then he want to kiss ass. He don't do a whole lot of work. He just work to be seen, and then he the main one, or she's the main one kissing ass and being seen in all the social circles. And those are the motherfuckers that usually move up. That's called office corporate politics. So we have to understand what it is, and we got to know what the fuck is going on. We got to understand that there's a lot at stake. There's a lot going on, and we have to be very mindful of what it is. There's a lot of things that I see, and a lot of times I kind of just be like, damn, man, like, damn, they sure is pushing this. They're really, 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 really pushing this trans thing and all this other stuff, which I'm just kind of watching it. But then you have this abortion thing that everybody's supposed to be making all this noise about, which to me, that's between a woman and what she want to do. That ain't got nothing to do with me. But what I'm saying is, if Congress and then y'all would outlaw Planned Parenthood, or y'all be marching outside of those Planned Parenthoods and picketing and protesting. You wouldn't go on TV in front of the Capitol and do that. You would do that everywhere. You know what I mean? And you would be putting it in movies. Hollywood is connected to politics. You be putting it in movies. And you be doing documentary films about abortions and why it's bad for you, why a woman should be able to choose. That's the thing that I look at. It's just like reparations, all this other stuff. Benign neglect. If we just don't talk about it, eventually they'll forget about it. But now that everybody is starting to be on code and be like, nah, we're not forgetting about that. Y'all owe us some money and it's time for a debt to be repaid. Now you got motherfuckers looking at you upside your head like, man, it's too far. You got people that are oppositional of it, but the majority of those people that are oppositional of it, they like their place within the system of racism and white supremacy. There's a lot of black folk that's oppositional of reparations because they like being liked by other racial groups. Yeah, when you grow up, you've been taught that, oh, everybody's fair, everybody's equal. Everybody's not fair, everybody's not equal. And no, it's always about race. I don't care who you talk to, what you talk about, it's always about race. And if you think otherwise, then something else is wrong with you. And that is not your responsibility to make any other racial group understand why it's always about race. You need to understand it first. That's what I learned. If you don't understand it, how the hell is anybody else gonna understand it? And stop wasting your time trying to explain that to people, because all they're gonna do is segue this abortion shit right back into their real agenda of what they want to do. And that's what I've kind of learned. I'm like, damn, man, they do a really good job of playing spin the topic. You know, we done forgot about the shooting in Buffalo, huh? We ain't even talk about that no more. It's like that shit don't even exist. And let me tell y'all something. If y'all think Joe Biden's he's not gonna get elected. He's not gonna win. He's senile anyway. He don't even know what's going on. He's Ronald Reagan 2.0. He don't know what's going on. That's understandable. You know, I just think it's kind of hilarious because now when the Republicans get in office, now they're gonna be the big bad wolf. And that's why we gotta get in there and go vote for Joe again. Because stop. I'm tired of these career politicians lying, stealing, doing whatever they want, putting these simple Simon topics in front of us. As Neely Fuller Jr. said, if the white supremacists wanted to end racism and white supremacy, they could do it tomorrow. They just don't want to do it. And remember that. That's why there's social stratification. You got all these different things that in different pockets and different avenues. And sometimes I just be like, golly, man, like we got to really wake up and start paying attention. You know what I mean? And we're very, very, very closed off to what we need to really look at a lot of times. Because anything that's on the news, you understand it's an agenda. But it's so funny how abortion's all over the news, abortion and this and Roe v. versus Wade, but you don't never see it in no movies. Like, I'm talking about like movies and no series, no nothing. They don't do nothing like that. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I noticed. You know, they don't do that. They don't go as far as they should go. You know, I think it's one of those things where we have to understand what is going on, and we gotta learn how to communicate with each other. Like, hey, bro, don't pay attention to that. That's bogus. That doesn't even mean anything. You know what I mean? Or you know, because I've thought about that. I'm like, dang, man, if abortion is that bad, right? And it's monumental to women's health, and then why are y'all not picketing, like I keep saying, outside of these Planned Parenthoods? Get rid of them if it's really that big of a deal. Because there's fertility clinics in the wealthy parts of every neighborhood you go to, and there's abortion clinics in every lower income part of the nation that you go to. But nobody seems to want to talk about that, because I think everybody is focused on something that does not matter at this point. We got to start learning, and I think reprogramming our mind to want to know about things that matter and stick to the topics that matter. Even little simplistic things that you don't think matter, they matter. That's why I always tell you, stay in your lane and don't worry about what somebody's doing. If you are worried, not even worried, if you are looking, take mental notes of what they're doing, and maybe you can use some of the stuff that they're doing to adjust your lane. But to sit around and, you know, please don't call me. If your subject matter is about the Lakers, then we don't need to be talking. Because I could give two fucks about the goddamn Lakers and LeBron James and all that other stuff. That's the problem with today's society, too. We're so busy bragging about how much a person got in their career. Oh, he got $250 million. Well, how much of that money did you get? Exactly. So I'm not worried about no stats. I used to be kind of a statistician and all that other stuff. Man, please. Fuck that. You the one that got to get up and go to work in the morning and go to that corporate plantation and play office politics. Not them. We have to understand that. A lot of us don't, and we don't want to understand it because we think life is more about the entertainment. It's entertainment. It's a controlled environment. You know what I mean? That's why when I watch stuff, that's why when I was watching Endgame and I was watching Infinity Wars, the MCU, you know, I know it's about Endgame. He just was like, it's too many people on the planet, so I'm just going to erase 50% of the population because they don't need to be here anyway. And this is what I do all over. And then when he did what he did, he tore up the stones, right? So everybody's all sad because he tore up the stones. But if you notice, if you watch the Infinity Wars, they went back in time and did it. But they not understanding there's something bigger than them, which is called the Time Variant Authority. And I always say this. That's why you have all these Sambos and Coons, and I'm about to relate it. That's why you have all these people going with whatever agenda the dominant society pushes, because that gives them value in their infinity stone that they have within the system of racism, white supremacy. When you see Sambos and Coons, be like, oh yeah, they gave them an infinity stone. That's why they talking. That's why they saying that. That's why they doing that, because they have an infinity stone. So they were given that by the dominant society. You give foundational Black Americans reparations, guess what? Ain't no more infinity stones. That don't mean shit anymore. Well, what do you mean, Warren? Think about it. If you at your corporate plantation, there's always that one or two black folk that will be aligned with the dominant society's program and will throw you under the bus and dry snitch on you. And they're doing that because of the trinkets and the infinity stones that they might get. Well, if you woke up one day and the U.S. government went on TV and basically was like, we're giving all foundational Black Americans, if you could trace your lineage back to the 1866 census, you're gonna get reparations of $5 million. Ain't no more infinity stones. Now you ain't worth shit, because now I got money too. So now I can quit. Like, fuck you, I quit. I don't have to work here no more. I'm out of here. What do you think that would do to the people that can't trace their lineage back and they know that they're an immigrant and they don't have that? Now you're worth nothing, because now you're going to be fighting amongst other racial groups that are not foundational Black Americans. Now the game is no fun, because now we don't have to participate in it, and that's things that we have to learn. That's why when I watched the Loki series on MCU, when that motherfucker was walking through the office and he opened a drawer and there was a bunch of infinity stones in there, and the dude in there was like, oh, you want an infinity stone? Go ahead. That shit don't mean nothing here. Go ahead. Which one you want? Oh, you want time? Go ahead. Oh, what you want? Illusions? Magic? It don't mean shit here. And that's the type of mentality we have to have when we understand this fight of replacing the system of racism, white supremacy, and establishing a system of justice. Remember, abortion is so important. I'm not saying that it isn't. Everybody is different. Every woman is different, whatever they want to choose. But if it is so important, I am speaking to the politicians. If it is so important, why are y'all not picketing outside of Planned Parenthoods? Why are y'all on TV so everybody else can see it? But then I don't see it in the movies. I don't see it in nothing else. But what I do see in the movies and everything else that y'all trying to push is the alphabet community and the trans community and all. It's on TV, it's everywhere else. But then when it comes to abortion, you don't see that in no movies. You don't see that in no paper. Think about it. You don't never read in the paper about over 500 abortions were done today in the city of Las Vegas, if you live in Las Vegas. If they start putting that in the newspaper, they start putting that shit on the news, and every time you look up, you see that shit, then motherfuckers be like, damn, what the fuck, man? What the fuck is going on? That'd make everybody self-conscious, but you don't know what's going on. I know, because I went to a motherfucking abortion clinic, so I already know. It ain't nothing but happy niggas in there and sad women. That's it. So trust me, but you notice they don't talk about that data. They'll give you the data, but ain't nobody outside the abortion clinic talking about, yeah, over 800 abortions was done today. Yeah, man, sad day. They'll never talk about that. Stop. Remember that. Anything else is uncivilized. That's my time. I'm out. I got to go. Shout out to everybody else. David from No Compromise, my brother. I have not forgot about you. Check that brother out. I got to get with him on some other shit anyway. Hey, love, live life, stay in your lane. Don't focus on nobody else. Look, there's a difference between relatives and family. We have to understand that too. And there's a difference between focus and people calling you up talking about, man, did you see what happened with, did you see what happened with such and such? He got traded from the Phoenix Suns today. If that's the only conversation you have and you broke and you got to get up and go to the corporate plantation, you got a problem. And that problem is a foundational black American problem, and that's a black problem in the United States of America. Hey, I'm out. You already know what my saying is. Guilty, nigga. I'll holler at y'all on Thursday. Peace.